start to lift your hands up and very slowly lift to the top and bring them down. That's lovely. Can you bring your feet in? We're going to do a lovely, beautiful tree. Can you stretch your arms out? Now, can you remember what not to do?
It's wiggle.
I can't hear you, Evan.
It's wiggle.
It's wiggle, that's right. Well done, good boy. So don't wiggle, so stretch. Stretch your arms out. Can you lift one leg up? Bring your foot in and bring your hands together and stay still. Doesn't matter if you wobble. Trees wobble in the wind. And smile. And that's beautiful. And we're going to do it on the other side. So you stretch your arms out. No wiggly wobbly hands. Lovely. Well done, Evan. That's excellent. And balance, balance. Now I'm wobbling. Balance. Can you bring your hands in? Well done. And don't forget to smile. Don't forget to smile. That's lovely. Well done. Can you bring your feet together? Are you? Well, remember you can have a rest if you want to, Evan. And bring your feet together. Can you sit on your mat though, Evan? Sit on your mat. Thank you. Feet together. Bend your knees. And jump out. Lovely, we're going to make a lovely triangle. Can you take your feet nice and high? Well, come on then, join in. And can you bring one foot in, one foot out, and put your hand onto your knee and stretch your arm. And stretch. It's lovely. Can you very slowly flat to the top, synchronisation, bring this foot in, and this foot out. Don't bend your knees, stretch your top arm, that's a lovely stretch, beautiful. Remember, what did we say stretching does? Makes us happy! Yes, and can you bring back to the
I'll just go through these. What do you get yourself from teaching yoga to children?
Oh, it's just the fact that it brings out their creative sides and the fact that they will do it. I mean, they're very, very free, very spontaneous, and you can sort of express all of those things when you teach with children. You're not restricting them. There's no right way or wrong way, it's just allowing them to be free, be very creative. And that's what I love about it. And it's just a joy. They're very, very happy. They get a lot, very positive response to yoga. And of course that's nice when you teach something and you can actually see your students feeling so positive as a result.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's lovely.
Did it easily adapt to the techniques? Or does it depend usually on the individual child?
It depends on the individual, because like us, every child is different. Some children are naturally flexible and find postures easy, which isn't actually always a positive thing. Sometimes they can have a tendency to overextend, but it depends on the individual. They'll have a go. The thing about children with yoga is they will do it. They won't look at something and sort of their initial response will never be, oh God, I can't do that, which is what you tend to get with adults.
Yeah.
They will just have a go, but it very much depends on the individual child and their body shape, and some children with their backs and the like, but they will have a go and do it.
Does it depend on the type of techniques or postures they're doing? Does some kids dedicate to certain ones easy?
Yeah,
some
of them balancing, like you saw this evening. I mean, if a child's very, very excitable, I mean, the thing with yoga is you're not trying to stop people being their natural selves. You're trying to draw that out.
You're trying to channel it.
Yeah. And if a child is by nature very, very, very giddy and very excitable, they will calm down when they're ready, but they'll find balancing postures very difficult because their mind has a tendency to go from one thing to the next, whereas children who are by nature quite calm find the balance is easier. And children that are excitable will find the dynamic movements, like the sun salutation, they will adapt to those postures a lot easier. So there's something for everybody. It doesn't mean that they can't take part, they can't do it. There is something for everybody.
I like what you did with the chairs as well.
Well, I do use props particularly with adults and children, but particularly with children, and the benefit of that is that it allows them to access the postures so that they're not
sitting out and not doing it and not taking part, because that will make them feel like, they can't do it, you know, and it can bring in negative feelings about themselves. So it's just a simple thing: put your feet on the chair and they feel like the rest of the class, like they're achieving posture. But it's important to use props with children, because again, it also makes them do the postures correctly, and it reduces the risk of
trying to avoid reinforcing that they can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of what I see conventional teaching kind of reinforces, right? You can't do that, so do this instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a way around it. Yeah, and or tailor make it for that particular child. Do you know what I mean?
And what connections have you got with schools?
Right. Well, at the moment, I have a long-standing class that I've been teaching at a school just outside of Manchester, and I've been doing that for over 4 years now, and it's a really successful class. I have 2 groups of 2 separate ages, and I have up to 30 children in each group at the moment. So it's quite lively, but very enjoyable. I have also had a class, morning class, that was part of a PE lesson at a school in Didsbury. That's the one that I passed over to. That's the one that actually I passed over to Angela, and she's continuing that class. And I am in the process at the moment of waiting for the City Council Education Department to come back to me with regards to implementing yoga as maybe not as part of a PE lesson, because they have very strict guidelines with the curriculum, but they certainly feel that there's scope to implement the yoga as Key Stage 4, as an after school or out of hours activity. So I'm waiting for them. I'm sort of, holding my breath and waiting for them to come back to me, but they're very positive, and I'm keen to get into as many schools as I possibly can, purely because I want to introduce health initiatives to children at a young age and to allow them, or kind of facilitate them accessing a feeling of health and well-being. And I believe
get them thinking seriously about it.
Really, or even if they're not consciously thinking about it, they experience the feelings. I mean, just listening to the children today, they might not consciously realise that, I feel like this, but they know that the stretching has done something for them. So it's
understand, basically.
It's just bringing that into them.
It makes you feel relaxed, happy, stress-free.
How often do you do it a week?
I do it every day.
It's fantastic. Star student. Now I know when Anya does it every day.
So you practice every day. How often do you come to the sessions?
I'm going to come once a week. This is first time, yes.
I think it.
They're brilliant, aren't they? Yes.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Happy.
Yes, that's lovely, Adam. You're always happy, aren't you? You're a happy little being. How do you feel when you come into the class? Just sit that for a moment, please, young man. How do you feel when you come into the class, when you first start, like particularly Annie and Renee, before you do yoga? How do you feel? Please don't say stress, because I don't believe at your age that you are stressed.
Yeah.
How would you feel when
you would think that you feel very busy. Yeah, busy.
Yeah, okay, I absolutely connect with that, because you do have very busy lives. So when you do your yoga, how do you feel afterwards? Other than just happy, what other feelings have you got inside? Yeah, you can just speak.
Very happy. It's like it makes you feel calm.
Does it? Yes.
Sleepy.
Sleepy.
And tired. Like if there was things that have happened in the day that you haven't liked or that you don't want to happen, then it makes you forget all the things. And
oh, that's really good. And does it make you think about things so that they don't bother you? Yeah, that's really good. I wasn't expecting that, Annie. That's excellent. And does it make you feel alive when you do it? I know after you do yoga, it does make you feel quite tired because of all the muscles that you're using, but does it also, when you are doing it, does it make the body feel alive and fresh?
It makes you feel that you can do a lot more things than you think you can.
That's great. That's excellent. Well, you can actually.
And I just believe, I firmly believe that in increasing the health and well-being of children at a young age, it can have a knock-on effect into teenage years, into adulthood, and into the wider community at large. You know, I really, really believe
some years
that
to learn to be people first, like the first stages of it, and it's going to make an obvious difference.
Yeah.
So you obviously see an increasing need for this and projects like this.
Yes.
You've probably explained it already, probably gone around the houses, but why? What do you see around you that makes you, that yoga would, if you taught it regularly, would kind of rectify certain things to do with society and children today? If you know what I'm getting at, it's a bit of a... I just wrote the question now.
If I can be absolutely honest
of course you can. That's
straightforward.
The kind of question I'm giving you.
I think the youth are going crazy. I think there's... the youth are out of control, and I feel that... Probably have to edit that. I feel that society doesn't perhaps offer them realistic alternatives. You know, it almost allows them to behave in such a way, and then makes an excuse for it at the end of it. The child's the victim because children need guidance, and that's really what I want to do. I just think it's bringing in this, having a sense of self-control, you know, and control over the self that can, you know, take that into the teenage years. And it's amazing. I mean, I have worked with difficult teenagers, and it was amazing, the response, that they weren't even aware, if this makes sense. They were so used to being a certain way because of the peer groups, because of the schooling, because of whatever other social aspects, that they weren't even aware that they could actually feel like that. And they might not obviously say it, but you
it's like too much negativity and things like that.
So much negativity out there, and I just think that you can offer the children something positive, you know, and that's really what my aim is with yoga trainers, is to allow children to access a positive energy, you know.
What's the age range?
All age range. I think below the age of 5, it's not possible to teach structured yoga. Some yoga teachers may disagree with me, but I feel that at that age they need to be taught with play and interaction, and it's very difficult to make them sit still, because by nature they don't want to do that. But from the ages of 5 upwards, it's perfectly possible. I mean, there are different approaches for different age groups. You know, you wouldn't have a class of a wide variety of ages. You need to split the age groups up in order for it to be structured in the delivery.
Yeah, it's like a 13-year-old or 12-year-old's going to see it totally differently.
To like a 6 and 7-year-old, yes, absolutely. And I found this out actually with the class, one of the children's classes I do, we had to split the groups up because the 13-year-olds were not putting up with the younger ones, you know, they were sort of like, oh, shush, shush, will you be quiet? And the younger ones didn't want to be, so you have to split them up in order for the children to get the you know, maximum benefit, really.
So was that group all the same age?
Roughly the same age, believe it or not. The littlest girl was older than Winnea, and her attitude reflected it, didn't it? Yeah. Daisy is older than Winnea and Annie, and Jojo's just a year older. Yeah. And obviously Evan was 5. He just joined in for the fun of it because a couple of children couldn't make it this evening. So.
That's good, yeah.
Is it mainly girls or?
No, girls and boys. It just happens that's the way it was this evening. I really wanted to try and get a really diverse group.
Just take a lead, Jim.
But I ended up with just the girls. But no, girls and boys. And the great thing about yoga is that it's multicultural. You know, it can reach. It's not dogmatic. It's multicultural.
It's been around long enough, hasn't it? So
thousands of years, yeah. But I mean, you don't have to fit in, and the techniques that are taught to children don't even go onto the spiritual aspect of yoga whatsoever. So every child of every religion, from all backgrounds, rich, poor, black, white, Asian, whatever, can access the benefits of it. For time, you're going to look at the wall in front of you, warrior 1.
I know what we do now.
So
look at the ceiling.
Look at the ceiling. So bend your front knee. Let's do a nice warrior 1.
Bring your arms up. Can you bring your hands together? Can you look up? Beautiful, well done. And can you bring your hands down? Straighten your knee. Nice and gently come on to the other side. So think about how you're moving. Nice and gentle. Bend your front knee. And do the warrior. Can you look up? Nice strong warrior. And can you straighten your knee? Bring your hands down. Come to the front. Bend your knees and in. Jump in. Lovely. Can you bring your hands in front of you? You have to bring one wrist over the other. Hands together. And bring your hands up through. Now, can you see some of you are doing this? Can you feel that you're doing that? Yes. Can you let your shoulders go down? That's it. You put one foot on top of the other. Look in front of you. Remember your balance. Remember all your bits for balancing. Very gently, you're going to come forward. And we're going to pretend that we're an eagle. And we're going to go. Excellent. And back to the top. I was a bit wobbly then as well. Can we try it with the other leg? So can you do your hands? Put your wrists over. Turn your hands. Turn them up. Drop.
So like you said before, they can feel the benefits. In your opinion, do you reckon, you say they come into an understanding in it? What kind of ages do they start to understand the more complexities of it, of what it's doing for them? Did they learn that themselves, or like I said, you teach the classes differently in the age groups?
I have to say, I can't give you a definite age, because in my head I would imagine kind of the age of 12 and 13. However, I am constantly amazed at some of the things that little children at the age of 7, 8, 9 and 10 come out with, and I realise from what they say that they're actually grasping a deeper understanding. But I think really to take it very seriously from the ages of 13 and 14, they can access yoga at the same level that adult. You know, you can teach 13 and 14-year-old in the same way that you would teach an adult, a young person or an adult.
What the actual positions are not doing for them.
What they're doing, the Indian names, what the names mean, the different parts of the body that they're using, and you can also start to draw their awareness into the body so that they start becoming aware. They're not just lifting their arms up, they're actually what muscles they're using to do that. So, you know, they're educating themselves.
Getting more control and
yes, yeah.
Anything else?
When you copy me doing things that, if you watched me first and then tried to do them, it would be very different. But the fact that you just do them, it makes you realise that you can do these things and you have a lot more potential than what you might realise.
Makes you feel more confident afterwards.
It's very good. Does it make you feel confident, Jojo? You're very quiet in the corner. Yes, you're a bit tired. What about the relaxation? When you do relaxation, what's... I know you love it. What does it do then, Juanita? What does it...
Relax, feel happy.
Could we find another word other than happy?
Like when you're doing it, really happy. Tired. Really happy. And then like when you're relaxing, it's makes you happy.
Yes, that's so good, Daisy. There's a difference, isn't there? Between
Too happy.
Too happy. You can never be too happy. There's a difference, isn't there? And I'm pleased that you've noticed that. There's a difference between being really tired and being relaxed. I think it's two different things, isn't it? That's very good. And do you think that when you do yoga relaxation, that you can learn to relax without going to sleep? Yeah, that's wonderful. That's fantastic.
No, I can't do that. Well, I should see my dad
You
cold.
You should come to my classes.
Yeah.
And anything else? Would anyone like to say anything else?
Yes.
Yes, come on. Feel free. I won't say anything. Come on, speak.
What do you think other children will benefit from it? Do you think other children should have some sort of yoga practice?
Yeah.
Why do you think that? What do you see around you? Why do you think other children might need it?
about staying, like we have Evan, who is always on a live wire, so much energy, and do you think there's a lot of children like that?
Yeah.
Calm them down.
Yeah. Do you think it helps you concentrate?
Yeah.
Come on then, continue here.
Do you think you should do it in school?
Yeah.
Would you like to do it in school, Evan?
After you've had a long break or a long time of playing, it's good to like get you concentrating a bit, even if you're just doing it for a couple of minutes or something.
Anything
So
else
how,
there?
that's a question. How long, just individually, how long did it take you to get used to it? Did it take us that long, or did you all get used to it
It
kind of?
feels that it's like after doing it for a bit, you just feels that it just comes to you.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
there are many adults that would say that.
we've learned too much. I would think we have. Anything else?
But can you remember Annie in particular? Because I came to your school, didn't I, Annie, and did an afternoon of
Yeah, you
yoga.
did.
And after that, what happened with you after that?
Well, I felt a lot very relaxed and alive. I know that Georgina, who isn't here, she's just like Evan, except older. And she wasn't running around.
No, she
was
wasn't.
Do you remember how she was?
She was very relaxed.
But do you remember what, Evan, shush, do you remember what happened with you? What did you start doing? I only came in for one afternoon, didn't I? And ever since then, that was months ago. What have you been doing?
I've been practicing.
On your own, haven't you, at home? Which is wonderful.
Do you think you could teach other kids to do it
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be good at teaching them?
Kind of.
I think Daisy would make a good teacher because she speaks so well, don't you? You're good at communicating.